reason why I became a teacher is so that I could benefit young children and have an impact on their learning through their educational journey of life, just imparting not just my knowledge on them, but just working with them day in and day out, learning with them through hands-on, engaging experiences, and just be able to give back part of that learning, to them, and to know that I had a part in that journey, and just seeing that spark go off. You can just see it in their eyes, that they finally understand something that you've taught. They finally understand and they get it and they can apply that knowledge in everyday life. The best thing to me about being a teacher is knowing that you make a difference in those children's life when they come into the classroom. Just kind of like being an advocate for them, listening to them, and if they're having a difficult day, just knowing that you're there and you can be safe with me. My classroom is a safe place for you to learn and to not be afraid of failure, that it is okay in my classroom to take a risk, and that learning is part of the journey, but that's not all of it. To teach them how to be a good citizen, to teach them about time management skills, organization skills, just to be there to listen to them when they need someone, and that hopefully that my learning will make a difference in their life. When a student comes into my classroom, I feel that as a teacher I need to make a connection. I need to have a rapport for them that very first week of school. Let them know how much I care about them. Let them know that they are there and that they're unique and they're different, and that is okay to be different, and to take that learning style and to kind of like take ownership of that student, whatever that learning style is, that they can benefit from my different teaching instruction, different activities, different ways to learn. A student needs to feel safe with you so that they can learn, because if they can't, then success will not happen. I have many different mentors, but I want to, Ruthie Mae George was one from many, many years ago. She imparted knowledge on me that it is okay to sing with your children. It is okay to do art with your children, how to integrate that into lessons, science, social studies, all of the subject levels. Jency Fordham was another mentor of mine. She loved to read with her children. Reading was her top priority within her classroom. There wasn't a day went by when I didn't see Miss Jency that either somebody was reading to the student in the hallway or she was reading to her children. So I kind of took that knowledge that Miss Jency had and I shared that with my students daily, that reading is very important, literacy. Ruth McGowan, she was my mentor early on. She taught me that you need to listen to your children, listen to their needs, and learn from that. If they're having a bad day, just talk with them. And last and foremost, I want to let all of my colleagues at Metter Elementary know how appreciative and how blessed I am to be nominated for Metter Elementary School Teacher of the Year. And also want to thank God for my health, my well-being, and that I could come to work every day and make a difference in these students' lives, and that could have a lasting impact on them whenever they graduate from high school. I think that learning in the classroom shouldn't be just about reading out of books. I plan a lot of field trips for the second grade team, and we have been on a lot of field trips throughout my 28 years of teaching so far. And I just feel like if students can experience things firsthand, like going to a place that we're learning about in the classroom, that can bring that to life for them. Just to know, hey, Miss Sherry, I remember when you took us to this location in second grade, and it makes everything more understandable.
Growing up, I didn't actually enjoy school very much, and I wasn't a fan of education whatsoever. I wasn't a fan of many teachers, and there was one teacher growing up, and that was my senior year of high school, that I really felt connected to. And I remember thinking, if I had had that connection early on in my career, how much of a difference it would have made in my education. So I became a teacher in hopes that students wouldn't hate going to school or hate school. And if I could have just one student not hate school, then it would be completely worth it. For me, the best thing about being a teacher is the relationships that I get to form over the many, many years. It means so much to me to have students come back and visit and recall memories, and there's so many students that have grown into adults now and have children that I get to have that bond with, and I just love getting to love children and have those relationships. Student and teacher relationships are important because it's all about connection, and unfortunately not all of our students have that connection. And even for the ones who do, it's so important for a student to feel connected to someone. And I find it imperative because that relationship, it helps me to build rapport, but also have trust within my classroom. It aids in behavior management for me, and I don't think that I would enjoy teaching without that relationship aspect. Mentor is an inspiration during my teaching career. I want to start off with talking about my parents. One is an adult educator, or was an adult educator, but both of my parents have inspired me with their work ethic. My mother has set an excellent example for compassion and empathy and for advocating, and to me that's kind of what we do in education a lot, is we advocate for others. I also have to mention Dr. Cooper. She was my mentor in the early years, but I still consider her a mentor. She guided me through so much stuff, and it means so much to me that she loved me enough to sometimes have hard love conversations to help me grow without ever belittling me and making me feel like I wasn't good enough or important. And she's always been such a champion for my growth, and I'm so grateful for her and her friendship. I wanted to take a moment and thank everyone who voted for me at the middle school for Teacher of the Year. It is slightly overwhelming and extremely humbling. I see so many deserving coworkers at school on a daily basis, and my brain just goes, that should be you, that should be you, that should be you. But it means more than y'all know to have been chosen. So thank y'all, and I love y'all. Things I have enjoyed over time within my teaching career. I have enjoyed working with others on various committees throughout my time here. I have enjoyed helping with basketball with Kendall and helping with cheerleading in the beginning, which helped aid in helping me grow relationships. Something that I got to experience recently was taking a professional development day to Ron Clark Academy, and it was so good for the teacher's soul. I have learned so much more, and I'm grateful for the experiences that continue to allow me to grow as an educator and to continue to bring stuff back. Just this year, we've brought in new things within the middle school, and it's just fun to continue to add new things to your repertoire of teaching, but very grateful for opportunities. One thing I would like to include is just how accepting my peers and students are of me. Another thing, it just means a lot that y'all are completely okay with the wild and the crazy and the British accents at times and the blue lipstick, go Trident. So I just am so grateful that y'all embrace me for me and allow me to continue to be my normal weird self.
The reason I became a teacher is sort of anticlimactic. It was not something that I had planned to do with my life. When I was going to college, I was studying biology, and life happens, and when the path was laid before me to become a teacher, I took that step down that path, and it has been an adventure ever since, and it has been the right step. I feel like that my path to teaching was in God's hands, that when that path was laid before me and I took that step, everything just fell into place and my life started to fall into place when I became a teacher. The best thing to me about being a teacher is that teaching is being part of a family. And when you're part of a school system and part of a high school like Metter High School, Metter College and Career Academy, it's truly a family. The students, the faculty, everybody that I work with. I know it's cliche to say it's all about the student, and it is about the student, but to me it's more than that. I believe that I get just as much, if not more, inspiration, motivation, fulfillment in my life from my students than I could ever possibly give to them. Teaching it's a passion, it's a purpose, it's what I feel like God put me on this earth to do. Student-teacher relationships are extremely important. When you build a relationship with someone, it's a foundation for moving forward. And when you build a relationship with a student, you get to know them, they get to know you as a person. A student is more than the grade, they're more than a test score. They're a human with lives outside of the classroom, with lives that we know nothing about, things that they don't want to share with you or with anybody, and you're never going to make that connection unless you build that relationship. I always refer to my students as my kids. I have one daughter, but I have hundreds of kids from when I first started teaching in 1999 until now. Some of my kids, I have their kids in class now, and it's just a family that I feel like they're an extended part of my family, and that relationship helps me to connect with them, helps me to hopefully provide a little bit of inspiration to them and help them to find their way, their path in life like I found my path. Throughout my teaching career, I've had many mentors, many inspirations. If I had to name one person who I consider an all-time mentor, I'd go back to the teacher that I had for student teaching, Lynn Burkhalter. She was very much like me. She loved being outdoors, got me involved with sea turtle research. We went on our first trip to St. Catharines Island together and had me hooked on sea turtles, and I did research with sea turtles from there. But just to name one, that she would probably be my most inspirational mentor. But as far as mentors and inspiration, it's all throughout my teaching career. Mentors and inspiration permeate throughout every classroom I've had, every student that I've had. Throughout my teaching career, I've had mentors and inspiration in every aspect of teaching. I get inspiration from the teachers I work with, my colleagues in the science department, my colleagues throughout the school. I get inspiration from my students. If I had to say a number one inspiration is from the kids themselves, because I'm inspired by what excites them, what engages them, and that gives me inspiration to do better as a teacher and to look for those ways that will help them find the path that they want and be inspired and engaged in science. They may not be scientists or go into a science field, but maybe there's something in what they learn from me that will help them later in life, and so that's an inspiration to me to think that I can do something that will plant a seed or a moment or a thought that will come back to those students later in their life, and they say, hey, I remember doing that in Dr. Tassero's classroom. And they may not realize that 20, 30 years down the road, but it'll come back, and that inspires me to know that what I do now makes a difference for somebody else in their future. And that is why it means so much to me to represent Metter High School, Metter College and Career Academy as their Teacher of the Year. And I just want to say thank you to the faculty and staff here who considered me a representative of the great work that you do. It's an amazing place to work, and I thank God every day for this opportunity.